For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Us on the broadcast, which is the most monitored. This is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. During the course of the program, your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. And Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room already. Somebody says that he is watching and listening all the way in Dubai. I'm referring there to Mr. Scott, who is watching and listening to the program. We trust that you had yourself an enjoyable weekend. So it was on Friday. A source called me very late and to tell me about the outcome of that High Court case involving a man who was charged with the murder of his stepdaughter, Valinda Joseph. And that incident occurred in December of 2002. And it occupied the attention and the focus of the entire citizenry. And no doubt, friends and relatives of the deceased who lived in Saltibus. Just for a moment, imagine a 12-year-old girl. She leaves her home and she goes to the seamstress, as is the case with so many young people having to adjust their uniforms. And a mom, I'm sure, would have expected should be returning within a reasonable time frame. We're not talking about an inordinate delay, as is the case with our justice system, but a reasonable time period whereby you can put on your uniform and head to school. And so hours elapsed, and then her mom in particular became very concerned. The alarm was raised, and then the search commenced. It was reported that it was her stepfather, Eugene St. Romain, who stumbled upon the half-naked and brutalized body of young Verlinda Joseph. Police would have conducted their investigations, and eventually St. Romain was arrested in April of 2004. Now, this would have been to the shock, to the dismay of people around the island. Although law enforcement personnel could tell you that whenever such gruesome acts occur, especially when it involves a sexual act, then those who are very close to the victim are seen as suspects. So if a woman is raped and killed, automatically law enforcement would focus on her boyfriend, her lover, her husband. In this particular case, I cannot imagine, and it's not for me to imagine that. It is for the trained personnel, law enforcement. I can't imagine still that law enforcement, in the initial stages of that case, would have seen the father or suspected the father to be a suspect or linked to that particular case. And so Eugene St. Romain spent several years on remand at the Bordelais Correctional Facility. And during that period, there were court challenges led by one's very active human rights attorney, Martinez Francois. He was eventually granted bail in August of 2013 in the sum of $60,000. This too came as a surprise to many people. And key evidence involved the St. Romain semen was reportedly found inside Verlinda. So what a story. And many people, I'm sure, they had forgotten about Verlinda Joseph. Not so for one particular individual. As we say very often in Creole, Haïtien me dit d'un blanc. In other words, you can hate a dog, but you have to be honest and say that its teeth are white. Give Jack his jacket. That individual I'm referring to, whether it was in the Star or on his talk show when he hosted it, and also frequently as a few weeks ago, Rick Wayne would call NewsSpin and forever make mention to the number of women who have been brutally raped and killed, and those cases are still outstanding, up until in the case of Verlinda Joseph last Friday. Kimberly DeLeon is one woman that he constantly makes reference to. Remember, she was murdered at her Morn home a few years ago. So I'll be speaking with Rick. Let me try to establish contact with him, because he has been speaking on this case ever since that incident in December of 2002. And just to get his feedback, and of course, I'll be hearing from you during the course of the program. So Rick is online. As we say, good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Hello, Rick. I suspect he is not hearing me, so if we have any challenges, we'll try to work on it and see if we can rectify whatever technical issue that we're going through right now so that we can get his take, his feedback. I don't think there's been any kind of major discussion since the jury found Mr. Eugene St. Romain guilty of the murder of Linda Joseph on Friday. He will be sentenced in March of 2024, and I could imagine that his attorneys would be contemplating their next course of action. Could be appeal on several grounds, I don't know. But definitely we have to wait to see exactly what will happen in the new year. One cannot help but take the so-called justice system in St. Lucia to task. Why should it take so long? Not that we are not happy that somebody was eventually found guilty of the murder of this precious soul, but why should it take 21 years for there to be an outcome in this particular case? And I know that there are many of you who are watching and listening to this broadcast right now. You have relatives, you have friends, definitely, who have been murdered, who have been raped, and up to this day, no one can account for what has happened to them. And most of you, unfortunately, you have sufficient reason not to hold your breath and also not to be optimistic that eventually the matter will come to a satisfactory conclusion. So let's see if we can establish contact with Rick right now as we say hello. Good afternoon to you, Rick.
Hi, Tim. It's, for whatever reason, I seem to be having problems hearing you,
Okay. But we'll try to see what we can do. Rick,
yeah.
On Friday, you would have received the news Friday afternoon that Eugene St. Romain, the stepfather of Linda Joseph, was found guilty of murdering this precious soul. What was the first reaction? Because I said earlier on that if there's anyone, hate a dog, but you must say that its teeth are white, who has been consistently making reference to Linda Joseph, it is Rick Wayne. So what was your initial reaction?
Well, my initial reaction right away was, say, so that was my reaction right away. You calling me a dog man?
No, I'm not saying that.
You can call me a dog like that?
No. But seriously, Rick.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but seriously,
Tim,
what was
I continue to be inundated with copies of that clip, that news clip or whatever.
Yeah.
With the guy's picture on there.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them had an accompanying note suggesting that I'm probably feeling good, justice has finally been done and all that kind of. A load of those, Tim, up to now. And the exact opposite is true. The exact opposite is true. I can't help it feeling in my bones that, as somebody said to me, this was just a case of rationalizing inaction on the part of the authorities. Tim, this is a very complicated case and very suspect, and you would think that it is one of those cases that all effort would be made to see that from the public perspective, justice was seen to be done, right?
Yeah.
Did you know a trial was going on, Tim?
No, I'm not aware that the trial was going on.
I don't know anybody who knew a trial was going on.
But Rick,
Even as
but
we
Rick,
speak,
but Rick, I don't.
Huh?
I will not. Would you blame for that?
I'm not levying any blame. I'm saying a case with such historic value background, a case so controversial, and everything, you would think the authorities, the court authorities in particular, would want to draw public attention to this case that has been on for 21 years and has become something of a symbol of injustice within the justice system of St. Lucia.
But I disagree with you. Rick, I disagree with you. Because I remember in its heyday, the Star newspaper assigned a court reporter, a reporter to cover the courts. And that is Christine Larby. Is she still alive, by the way?
I think she still is, yeah.
Right. It's just that there's a responsibility that we have as the media. And unfortunately, we don't have the resources to expend on such assignments. I mean, like the New York Times and Washington Post, etc. But foremost, I think,
Tim, let me ask you something.
to make a long story short, I think in a case of that nature, it is our responsibility as the media to cover those cases. That is what that's what the public expect of us.
Yeah, but my point, which does not argue your point, my point is, considering the case, its background, its history, you would have thought the authorities would make it known, even the government public relations office or somebody from the DPP's office would draw attention to the fact that this trial is finally underway. Okay? And especially when there seemed to be no reporting, that they would go out of their way to inform the public, because they inform the public and everything else that the reporters don't write about, So that doesn't concern me that much. I'm just saying, what a coincidence.
Okay.
But let me ask you a question, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
When did Romain become Belinda's father, as far as you know?
Well, I always heard and I reported that he was her stepfather.
That's what everybody else, that all of a sudden he has become her father.
Yeah, I know he's her stepfather. From December,
yeah, that's what I knew.
From December of 2002, when I started reporting with this, I was told that it was her stepfather. Yeah.
We reported widely on the matter, and always the relatives and everybody else, I'm not even sure if the mother was not involved, referred to this guy as stepfather.
Stepfather.
Even when he was coming down to my office and talking even to what's his name? The guy at HTS.
You're a reporter at HTS?
Why?
Which individual?
Andre Paul.
Andre Paul, okay.
Yeah. Even when he talked to him, Andre always referred to him as a stepfather. So
from day one, I was told, I think it might have been from Belinda's mom, that he was her stepfather.
Yeah. Okay. You will remember too, Tim, that at the time of her death, there were 2 or 3 cases pending of sexual abuse of the girl involving 2 other people. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
There were such cases, yes.
That case is so wrapped up in controversy. And that's a totally DNA case. There's a case I was just asked to check out, a case involving an American woman called Lois Macmillan, and I've just been reading through it. Only in this case it was a rush, but the inadequacies so much remain. 21 years. This guy was behind bars for 11 years, Tim.
Yeah.
And then he was bailed thanks to an organization in Canada. He was bailed. And you wonder what was going on between the time of his arrest and those 11 years. What were the authorities doing? Well, it seems they were having major problems with analysts, DNA analysts.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica was involved. Barbados was involved. England involved. With my own investigation, I have found that even England were concerned, expressed concerns about the sample, the minuscule sample they were asked to analyze. To the best of my knowledge, because that's early, to the best of my knowledge, there was no expert cross-examination. This is DNA, team. This is DNA. You remember the O.J. Simpson case? That's the best known case.
Yes, I remember.
You remember how the police had all the DNA and everything in place and everything against O.J.?
Mm-hmm. And
You remember how the DNA expert blew that away?
Yes.
All right. So imagine 21 years later, Lord alone knows who collected the semen, whether it was collected from the girl's vagina or from her another body part, her leg or whatever. I don't know. These are all important aspects of it, though. This is a very involved science, the science of DNA. And with so many question marks over a case like that, and to find out that the DNA went through Jamaica, Barbados, England over all those years, there were complaints that there were at least 2 or 3 DPPs. What's her name? Veronica or Victoria? I always mix it up.
Veronica Victoria Clark.
Charles.
Yeah.
That she was totally she had no faith in the DNA analysis she had gotten. She wouldn't go to court with that. It wasn't fit for her to go to court, etc., etc. So, there were problems with analysts, the integrity of the samples. As far as I know, no expert cross-examination. Richelieu is a great lawyer. In St. Lucie, he has quite a reputation. I don't know how much he knows about DNA, or did he have any expert assistance, or if he had if there was anybody for him to cross-examine. And I don't know any of that. None of that is I want to talk too heavily. I just want to point to them. But I keep on seeing this man insisting, coming to the start. He would have to be absolutely crazy or some kind of psychopath. The man would come so many times, sometimes I would duck him, pressuring me to keep the case in the headlines over and over and over. And all of a sudden, the guy...
Rick, that's not evidence of his innocence, huh?
I'm not offering evidence. I'm not in a courthouse with you.
Okay.
I'm telling you the circumstances why I feel concerned.
I'm just telling you that's
why
not...
why I am concerned that this
I know we're not in court. Thank God for that. But I'm just telling you that's not evidence or suggestive of his innocence.
I think your listeners are intelligent enough to know that that's not evidence, and I'm not presenting it as evidence. I'm saying about the things that concern me, and I'm not talking about an expert in any way of this. I'm just saying to you that a lot of question marks on this remaining on this particular case. And again, when we get down to the state-funded, I've had experience where the state supplies lawyers. And I want to be very careful how I put that, because it doesn't apply to Richelieu. But I remember the case of the Etherington murder case, Tim, where the government, the prime minister, and very top people in the country wanted to see and I have to use the word because that's the word they were using at the time, those niggers, whoever did that, those niggers, they must hang, okay? And these were big people. You will remember that we had wanted posters, we had Scotland Yard and everybody here. And it turned out a St. Lucian policeman, in fact, cracked the case. Yeah. But we had everybody. Everything was against those three guys who, in fact, committed the crime. I'm not making an excuse for them. But one of them was totally a retard, and that's a long story. It's in my book, The Edmonton Murder Case. So I have a good reason to be suspicious when the little man is involved in a controversial case like that, and over a period of 21 years. And I think that thing about justice to be seen, to be done, is so important in this particular case. How many cases we have right now, Tim, that reporters go to the police and all they tell you is, and the DPP is doing this, waiting for samples, we're waiting for that. can't get them.
Kimberly DeLeon
That's
is one
why-
such case.
What?
Kimberly DeLeon, one such case.
I'm missing you. I didn't get that.
Kimberly DeLeon, the young lady who was killed at the
Another
mall.
case.
Yeah.
Or the young man, 17-year-old. Up to now we
Arnold.
don't know.
Arnold Joseph.
Arnold, we don't know a thing. And the man might as well be a frog. That's how he's been treated. He's just dead. His mother, no kind of resolution, nothing at all. And no voices raised. No voices raised about it at all. They don't give a damn. And I remain very worried about this thing. I'm assured. Well, I'm going to be careful of my words. I am told that there is likely to be an appeal.
Yeah.
There's likely to be an appeal. I hope so, because there was a similar case in Tortola some years ago, and it ended in no time at all. They had found a particular guy guilty and whatever. Went to the Privy Council and they overturned all that. So many question marks on this particular case. And let's not forget the political aspect of it, Tim. You will remember that was 2002. And you would have thought that this girl was the Queen of England who died. Because every goddamn politician was there making himself conspicuous to the cameras. Every politician was there. I don't know why, but they were all there for the funeral. Now, of course, everybody's quiet and nobody's going to call you and say anything about it. Nobody spoke in the intervening years from the death to now, etc. I am very, as you can tell, I am very, very disturbed that this guy is a scapegoat, political scapegoat as well. It makes the government look good, and I don't want anybody saying, hey, I'm after people of the Labour Party. Whatever government was in office would have been in office, I would say exactly the same thing. It just makes the government look good. Well, not look good, look like they're doing something, because this famous case, they have now resolved it. That's why I got all these notes. And you must be feeling good, Rick, justice has been done. I don't believe justice has been done. There was also evidence taken by a doctor who has since passed. And I can tell you I was very close with him, and at the time it would have been confidential. But I can tell you right now, the man told me the evidence, he took, like, call an evidence or sample or whatever you want to call it, could not be tied to the guy. As it turned out, I don't think that came up. By the way, you know there was a mistrial in this case too?
Yes, at some point, yes.
With Martinez Francois, there was mistrial. You see how many unusual things are involved in that case, Tim? But our people, and that's another thing I must mention before I hang up, our people, their concern for Belinda Joseph, that was mute all those years, will suddenly come up. Rick Wayne trying to defend the man, Rick Wayne trying to defend. No, Rick Wayne is telling you that you have no justice system in the country, that you don't have a legal representation, that people who are poor and cannot afford lawyers, in the case of murder, will be given a lawyer and that doesn't mean that lawyer will receive half the things he requires to do a proper defense. You know, it's just a show. Even the best lawyer on his own requires investigators, requires expert evidence, requires all these things. I am not sure the state supplies state-funded lawyers with those kind of things. I don't know, and I should know. I don't know. So there are a lot of question marks over that case, and I hope somebody in the legal profession might want to offer an opinion. I'm not holding my breath on this case. But, Tim, 21 years after a thing, that in itself is cause for pause. And with all those question marks hanging over the case, even more cause for pause. And it's a reminder yet again, our justice system is non-existent. And the people of this country have been taught to believe once you are arrested, you're guilty. Once you're arrested, you're guilty. And the guy who is hauled in there automatically is like a balm for all the, what's the lady's name you just mentioned? For all the outstanding homicide cases that nothing is being done about.
Kimberly
Hang this guy's ass, and that will almost pacify everybody. It sucks. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rick. And let me take you some 11 years ago, and that is when St. Romain was taken to court. We have a report which was filed at the time by Sissy Lactil, who was with DBS Television.
The judgment in the constitutional case was expected on Wednesday. However, Eugene St. Romain, the man accused of the murder of Valinda Joseph, was given bail by a judge. The judge on Wednesday ordered the matter to go back for a high court trial. A $60,000 bail was granted to St. Romain.
One of the things we were asking was for the state to provide him with a DNA expert at the state's expense, and the judge agreed with that. And we granted him bail. And we sent the matter back to the high court for trial. But I said I'm not read the judgment. I'm very minded to appeal that decision. I'm not satisfied with it.
Bail under what conditions?
$60,000 surety.
Okay, I
On property or civil surety. I said I'm not ready to do the judgment, but it's very likely that we're going to appeal that decision. To me, it's too much in favor of the state.
Valinda Joseph was at the time of the incident 13 years when she was brutally raped and murdered near her home in Saltibus on December 2nd, 2002. She had left her home shortly after 7 in the morning to have a uniform adjusted by a seamstress. Her half-naked body was discovered less than a mile away from home by her father, Eugene St. Romain. The sister of the accused expressed outrage following the outcome of the case.
They always adjourn the case, and to my knowledge, I know there's no evidence. My brother never killed anybody. There's no evidence. That if they had the evidence, why not have your case? Why is dragging? I mean, if you had evidence that somebody killed somebody after 8 years, he should be in jail already. Well, he is in jail. They call it remand, but he's in jail. Well, they should have sentenced him already or something. You understand? So it only shows that where is the evidence?
Another sister of St. Romain and also an aunt of Valinda Joseph says she would not advise her relatives to pay the bail money. According to her, the case has been dragging on for much too long.
If you don't have evidence on somebody doing something wrong, by then you all should have a decision already on what you're doing. You understand me? So what's keeping them back? Because I know people bail people when they arrest them and they don't want to stay in there, but the man spent 8 years in there. So if they put him on bail now, it's another wasting of our time again to come into the court. You understand what I'm telling you there? So I don't think there's any justice for my niece as far as I'm concerned.
The case involving St. Romain had in recent times sparked widespread public outcries. St. Romain was charged with the murder of Valinda Joseph on April 7, 2004. Reporting for the DBS News World, I am Sissy Lactil.
The case was dragged on since his arrest in 2004, so that'll make it, some 19 years or so since the matter has been called before the courts, or brought before the courts, and called and adjourned over an extended period. In a moment, I'll be hearing from you, and Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. Come on down to the Furniture Factory and get good deals on beds and mattresses. Ultra foam mattress, the queen size, as low as $595. Spring mattress, full, as low as $795. Ultra fiber standard pillows, 2 for $25. We also carry full queen and king size mattresses. For every mattress purchased, we're giving you 2 standard size ultra fiber pillows for free. We also specialize in custom-made upholstery furniture, lowest prices you won't find anywhere. And they are located, that is the Furniture Factory, located at Ascanout Deanery. Call 453-4907, that's 453-4907, or 460-6028, 460-6028. You are watching and listening to the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbute at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
It's my life and I want more. More time, more power. Pay my Lucy like bill isn't hard. I pay with credit or debit card. Pay direct to Lucy like my account. I have the power, yeah. Pay online to Lucy like my account. Anywhere, any day, any hour. Lights are on at home. No more standing in line. No more worrying about my bill. Now I'm all paid up. Got more time to chill, yeah, yeah. Pay my Lucy like bill isn't hard. I pay with credit or debit card.
Register today to set up Lucelect My Account by going to www.myaccount.lucelect.com on any device. Follow the steps to register and pay your electricity bills directly to Lucelect online and get back to your life. For now, this service is available to customers with domestic accounts only.
Celebrate the season with KFC's Christmas Festive Feast. Feast on our festive bucket. 6 pieces of chicken, 2 small mashed potatoes, 2 corns, 2 sodas, all for just $45. Or grab the festive box. 5 dipping wings, a sandwich, fries, a biscuit, and a soda, only $28. Make your holidays special with KFC's Festive Feast. Available at all KFC locations and for delivery. WhatsApp us at 484-0400 or visit our website, kfcslu.com, for more information. This is a limited time offer. Happy holidays from the management and staff of KFC.
You asked for it, and it's back. The National Farmers and General Workers Credit Union Limited announces the return of its Merry Till February Christmas loan promotion. Get up to $30,000 with absolutely no deposit and up to 5 years to repay. It's Merry Till February with the Farmers Credit Union. Call 454-6710 in VA4 or 452-7277 in Castries to book an appointment with one of our loans officers today. Terms and conditions apply.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique du Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are able to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel and shoulder pain, cramps and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique du Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. To make it easier for you, La Clinique du Corps is currently offering a special 30% discount for the Christmas season for all specialist consultations. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique du Corps. So, walk into the new year pain-free with La Clinique du Corps. To book your appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950.
Tis the season for new internet, a laptop, and some extra cash. This Christmas is on us. Sign up in-store or online today at discoverflow.co. Terms and conditions apply. Valid while stocks last.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come, visit Sadhu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Find me where they find nice, where we come to play within it. Blast your stress away, but know your limit. Just feel it, you're winning. We're having a blast, blast, blast. Hey. Your one-stop shop, lottery, VLTs, and bingo. Come for the games, stay for the food, drinks, and more. Celebrate with me, we feeling lucky. Blast with victory. Find me where they find nice, where we come to play within it. Blast your stress away, but know your limit. Just feel it, you're winning. We're having a blast, blast, blast. Yeah, we playing blast.
Must be 18 or over to play. Only from the St. Lucia National Lottery. Changing lives.
Continue our conversation on the broadcast. You are watching and listening to NewsSpin. On the line now, we have former Gender Relations Minister, former Minister with responsibility for health as well, Mrs. Sarah Flood-Barbara. Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Timothy.
Hi, good afternoon to you. Before we focus on another matter, your thoughts on the outcome of that case involving Verlinda Joseph?
Yes, well, Timothy, I heard Rick's contribution just a while ago, and no doubt there will be a lot of discussion on this. But when I heard the judgment, or when I heard about the conviction on Friday, I just thought to myself that it's almost, Verlinda Joseph would have been about 32 or 33.
Yeah.
And what a long time this has been. So my thoughts obviously went out to the family, and I couldn't help remembering how I felt when I heard of Verlinda's murder so many years ago, almost 21 years ago, and how things have changed in St. Lucia. You know, I remember how the whole country was traumatized and outraged when this happens. Now things have changed so much in St. Lucia that rapes and murders happen and we go about our business. This I think, in addition to saying that, this must bring a sense of closure for Verlinda's family, although it doesn't obviously bring her back. But without justice being served, one can never move on. You know, so I have to say that there's a sign of relief, but my heart goes out to the family.
You would have been a government minister at the time, Mrs. Sarah Flood-Barbara, and you are also an attorney by profession. In light of the long delay, not net delay, I mean, what does that say about our justice system?
Well, Timothy, I mean, it is such a long time to have to wait for the outcome of a trial, and I am holding my breath too. You asked me to comment as an attorney. We don't know whether the defense intends to appeal this matter. I'm just saying that it's so sad that it takes such a long time. It is sad for the accused, it's sad for the victim and the family, because, you know, you have people's lives being held in abeyance like that for such a serious matter. We want to be sure that justice is served, it's served swiftly, and we want to know that the right person is convicted. And when justice takes so long, there are necessary question marks, you know? So I heard Rick's comments, which are very valid in the circumstances, and we want to know that justice is served swiftly and that the right person is convicted. So this is all I have to say for now, just to say that my heart really goes out to the family of Valinda Joseph, because the wounds are reopened, you know, the wounds are reopened. But maybe now they can bring some closure, you know, because unless one feels that justice is served, you can't really move on.
You have another concern.
As a government, yes, Timothy, I do have another concern. I am really concerned about hearing the turning point. I was able to confirm this morning that apparently Turning Point is going to be closed temporarily. I'm very nervous about that, Timothy. I would like to know what the word temporary means. We know that St. Jude's has been housed in the stadium in Vieux-Fort, and this was supposed to be a temporary arrangement, you know. Turning Point is very, very essential to our health services. I would like the Minister of Health or a designated official from the Ministry of Health to tell us why Turning Point must close temporarily. When will Turning Point be closed? How long will the closure be? In other words, when will it reopen? What provision is being made, or has been made rather, for persons who are outpatients of Turning Point who need to be continued with their care? What will persons seeking help with addiction do whilst Turning Point is closed? These are very, very urgent questions, which is why, you know, I'm bringing this up on NewsSpin. My understanding is that Turning Point will be closed maybe within days. It's likely, I think, to be before the end of this year. We know what the festive season is like. In fact, a lot of outpatients of Turning Point check themselves in over the Christmas season because they do not want, you know, to be induced over the season. So this is really an urgent call I'd like to make to the Minister of Health to let us know what is going on with Turning Point. Why does Turning Point have to be closed? And is there another arrangement which has been made for residential care? We know that drug addiction is linked very directly to violence, to crime, to domestic violence in particular, and domestic abuse in particular, and Turning Point shouldn't be closed, not even temporarily. So I'd be very grateful, Timothy, if on your program you can assist us. When I say us, I mean the people of St. Lucia, to get the Minister of Health to let us know exactly what is going on with Turning Point and to reassure us that even if the facility is being closed temporarily, that other arrangements have been made for persons who need residential care and support to help with their addictions.
I'm hoping that before we conclude our broadcast today, we can hear from either the minister or even the PS or the chief medical officer in the Ministry of Health on this particular subject matter that you have just raised on the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Timothy.
Okay.
Very appreciated.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for speaking with us. You just heard there from former Health Minister, Mrs. Sarah Flood Warborough. All right, your turn now for me to hear from you at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And, of course, good afternoon to you, Kimani. What's happening in the chat room?
Good afternoon, Tim. In the chat room, someone says, if a DNA sample was sent to the UK, you can be sure that the sample was either inconclusive or they would have reported a perfect match. Rick is right to be very skeptical. Another comment, our justice is so poor in St. Lucia. Someone says, justice delayed is justice denied. And another comment, agreed, Rick, without an explanation, appears to be gross deficiencies in the judiciary systems. I remember that case. We heard justice in St. Lucia. We need justice in St. Lucia. Too much snail piece cases. Another comment, when the authorities prioritize matters of political implications, what should we expect? Someone says, very scary justice system in St. Lucia. Another comment, we want proper housing for nationals living in unsanitary and poor deplorable communities all over SLU. And finally, someone says, but yet celebrating the appointment of a special prosecutor.
Thank you so much, Kimani. We'll be returning to you in just a moment. We have our first call in line. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
What's up, doing? Good afternoon.
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
See, boy, you see what Rick there said this afternoon there and with Bobre?
Mm-hmm.
This morning, Tim, I have the same question. I raised the head on that. I said, but for so long, Tim, what happened to the DNA? They say they found all the tissue element they found on her nails and all kinds of things like that, Tim. Tim, what was that? Tim, the same thing Rick said there. And Tim, by the way, Tim, how many journalists you have in this country that go to cover court cases in this country? How many we have?
Unfortunately, I don't think we have any who would go into the courthouse and remain there for the entirety of a case. That is because we have certain constraints, caller. Human resource constraints, financial constraints, and so on. To have one reporter following a case for 21 years, I mean, that individual would have to focus exclusively on that matter when there are other cases that are occurring. Normally in the United States, the newspapers are the ones who would be devoting a lot of their time and resources towards a case of that nature. But unfortunately, in our situation in St. Lucia, with financial constraints and so on, limitations and so on, unfortunately, we can't cover all the cases before the courts on a continuous basis. We could only report on the outcome, and that's unfortunate.
The Tim, sorry, boy. God bless the soul of Christine Labby. You know Christine Labby?
Yes, I made reference to her earlier on, caller.
Yeah. And Tim, I was telling her this morning, and I recall that's the lady name. That lady to be at the court to make sure she covers things, She get the sources, the facts, or whatnot. And Tim, I saw this lady was alive. I think she's dead, right? I think she's dead, okay?
Rick does not know. He told me he suspects she's alive. I don't know.
Okay. If she was around to the team, that lady would have been on that case from day one until now. And that is person that people that have been missing over the years to cover those cases, man. Because Christine will make it her duty to make sure she knows what whatever that case is very interesting to be there. Well, but for me, there's still more to answer about that very thing. For me, and it was also said there was another guy involved at the time.
It was suggested.
Yeah, but we don't know nothing. Anyway, Tim, let's see what happens. I saw people go to appeal that case. Guaranteed that, because for me, after how many years that I spent in that day, they put him on bail for how many years, and they tell me it's only now. How long it taken to get some DNA sample and DNA test in this country? And if it was sent overseas, why it took so long?
Because those labs have to give priority to what is happening or matters that are brought before them, samples that are brought before them from their jurisdiction. So Barbados would not prioritize samples coming from any other country other than what's happening in Barbados. And the same for Trinidad and so on.
Yeah, but Tim, don't forget somebody got the death in that thing. Somebody died in that.
Yeah.
Somebody died. So I think priority will come first to voting God. Clearly in that kind of situation. Anyway, but Tim, have a good day, my brother.
All right, you too. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Let me see if I have any of your messages to go through right now. Somebody says there, I think Rick's perspective on the case would definitely be different if he were from the community. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Hi, Tim. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. You are on the air.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Tim, one would have thought that those of us who perhaps were alive and well when this child was first being murdered would be very, very interested in the outcome. But somehow I doubt if any of us will be accepting the sort of verdict that we heard here for a variety of reasons. I, for one, am finding it extremely difficult to process that, especially on the grounds of which the apparent conviction was made. There's talk about semen being found inside her.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when this thing came out, the only real evidence that was being relied on, or there was an attempt to rely on, was something about teeth marks on her.
Yes, I
and
remember.
they couldn't get a matching between the teeth and the guy's teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can't tell me 21 years after something, you're going to produce a semen sample which had never, ever been spoken about. Never. I simply have searched my memories, my files, never, ever spoken about. Right? And in any event, even if it was spoken about, at least we should know when the semen was found. Where was it? Was it found 21 years ago? Was the body exhumed? And we also need to know who was the guy's defender. There's everything wrong with this case. And I am reasonably certain, did he have the resources, this thing would go back to a trial because he would have appealed the result. I'm very, very disappointed. Whilst we're all looking for closure and so on, I don't think this is what we wanted. It should have been a lot more clear-cut. But 21 years to get justice? I remember there was a case some time ago. A lady was raped when she was about 15 and she was 33 or 34 when the thing finally went to court. And at that point in time, she had moved on with her life, and I doubt if she really wanted to be bothered about this anymore. But 21 years for a murder, and even then, the final result will not be pleasing to many people who are involved in this thing. There will always be questions over this verdict. So I'm really saddened to hear that. But the thing is, do you know anything else besides what we have all heard?
No, I don't know anything in addition to this.
My Lord. Anyway, we'll see how that ends up. But certainly, I to put it crudely, I don't buy it. That's all I can say. I don't buy it.
All right, sir.
Take care.
Thank you so much for calling. What's in the chat room, Kimani?
In the chat room, someone says, so what do journalists cover in SLU apart from politics? What do they cover, Tim?
You tell me.
Another comment. I just don't understand.
I was waiting for you.
I just don't understand the law in St. Lucia, OMG. Someone says, caller, maybe you should trust the science. And someone says, don't forget there is more advanced technology. Maybe that's why there is a different outcome in this case. Let's see. Someone says they are closing turning points because when they lose the next election, there will be no place to put them. So they will be out roaming the street like normal people, but all of them will be mad. That's about it in the chat room.
What's a message? Somebody says 21 years? That sounds like a political gimmick. Sad. Maybe we need to hear from those people based on what they can say, because if the case will be, if there will be appealed, there'll be constraints as to what the Director of Public Prosecution or the Deputy DPP or even the defendant's attorney can say. But definitely with people at this point in time being confused and also they're suspicious, etc., there is certainly need for those people who are involved directly in that particular case to come up and to defend their respective positions and to defend the outcome of that case. It could also be a situation where I'm sure that maybe issue will be taken. In such cases, what normally happens is that people take issue with the jury system. Questions be asked as to whether the jurors are sufficiently qualified or adept or fair with some of the technical issues to come up with the right outcome. But let us again wait and see what will happen as far as this case is concerned. This is NewsSpin right here on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. Come on down to the Furniture Factory and get good deals on beds and mattresses. Ultra 4 mattress, the queen size as low as $595. Spring mattress as low as $795. Ultra fiber standard pillows, 2 for $25. For every mattress purchased, we're giving you 2 standard size ultra fiber pillows. We're talking about the Furniture Factory. We also specialize in custom made upholstery furniture. Lowest prices you won't find anywhere. Located at Ascanout, Dennery, 453-4907. That is 453-4907. You can also call or dial 460-6028. 460-6028.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus takes charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Introducing the new LuSelect Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From my account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, luselect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. LuSelect's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Sign up for a large postpaid plan and get 2 Samsung Galaxy A4s for just $199, plus 2 entries into the Everyday Grand Giveaway. This Christmas is on us. Sign up in store or online today at discoverflow.co. Terms and conditions apply.
You asked for it, and it's back. The National Farmers and General Workers Credit Union Limited announces the return of its Merry Till February Christmas loan promotion. Get up to $30,000 with absolutely no deposit and up to 5 years to repay. It's Merry Till February with the Farmers Credit Union. Call 454-6710 in V4 or 452-7277 in Castries to book an appointment with one of our loans officers today. Terms and conditions apply.
Celebrate the season with KFC's Christmas Festive Feast. Feast on our festive bucket. 6 pieces of chicken, 2 small mashed potatoes, 2 corns, 2 sodas, all for just $45. Or grab the festive box. 5 dipping wings, a sandwich, fries, a biscuit, and a soda, only $28. Make your holidays special with KFC's Festive Feast. Available at all KFC locations and for delivery. WhatsApp us at 484-0400 or visit our website, kfcslu.com, for more information. This is a limited time offer. Happy holidays from the management and staff of KFC.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique du Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are able to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel and shoulder pain, cramps, and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique de Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. To make it easier for you, La Clinique de Corps is currently offering a special 30% discount for the Christmas season for all specialist consultations. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique de Corps. So, walk into the new year pain-free with La Clinique de Corps. To book your appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Find me where they find nice, where we come to play within it. Blast your stress away, but know your limit. Just feel it, you're winning. We're having a blast, blast, blast. Hey! Your one-stop shop, lottery, VLTs, and bingo. Come for the games, stay for the food, drinks, and more. Celebrate with me, we feeling lucky. Blast with victory. Find me where they find nice, where we come to play within it. Blast your stress away, but know your limit. Just feel it, you're winning. We're having a blast, blast, blast. Yeah, we playing blast.
Must be 18 or over to play. Only from the St. Lucia National Lottery. Changing lives.
452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Kimani will be going through some of your comments in just a bit. WhatsApp message. This has been my concern for the past years. There are a number of young people, particularly men, who have become addicted to, example, alcohol, drugs of all kinds, from early as 14 to 15 years old. However, after a time when they grow up to about 20 years or thereabout, some have confessed/admitted that they are not where they wanted to be in life. They have made a conscious decision to be treated and transformed, becoming a desirable citizen. Can government put something in place to accommodate such young people who can't afford to receive treatment at Turning Point? The treatment course at Turning Point, duration about 48 weeks, and the charge more than $2,000. One must deposit $700 before admittance. I think that should be 4 to 8 weeks. Okay? The treatment course at Turning Point, duration about 4 to 8 weeks, and the charge more than $2,000. One must deposit $700 before admittance. Most young people and parents can ill afford that expense. Can government allocate some funds, same as they budget for carnival, etc., to assist these young people? I know so many such like some of these young people who are now pastors or ministers of the gospel, prime ministers, businessmen, etc. Many such like youths have become good citizens, making valuable contributions to their countries. Healthy, productive young people are a great asset to our country. Can government subsidize the cost of treatment for these young people? With every individual young person who is healthy and making a meaningful contribution to his or her country makes the country richer. Please help save our fallen youth who are seeking help to be transformed to serve. Long WhatsApp message. And you heard the former health minister, Mrs. Serafad Bobra, saying that she's reliably informed that Turning Point will be closed at some point in time to undergo some kind of transformation. And she's asking the authorities to explain what will happen to its outpatient service in particular, and to treat people who are in desperate need of that kind of assistance. Let's see if you have a WhatsApp message to go through. No, but okay, let's see there. Somebody says there, was there a press conference from the DPP's office to speak on the outcome of the case? If no, then that is quite unfortunate. After 21 years, you would think that they would have had a press conference to discuss their journey to get towards getting this verdict. This leaves so much room for continued speculation. I really don't think that folks will be satisfied about this outcome, except for those who already believe the man was guilty. The ones who had the doubts based on the way this case has dragged on for years will continue to have their doubts. I think the DPP's office needs to have a press conference to speak on the matter and allow for questions from the media. Maybe then everyone will be satisfied. Okay, let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says there, 5 years after her murder, he has remarried. The woman he married is believed to have been in... Okay, all right. Certainly not to be aired. All right, let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says, Turning Point is being closed and we hear from the opposition about it. No communication about patients, what patients can and should do. What happened to the transparency? Kimani was in the chat room. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026.
Someone says, Timothy, you are confused. Is the jury qualified? What kind of qualifications are they supposed to have? They are told what to look for by the judge. Stop making St. Lucians look like they are stupid. But the folks...
What I'm saying is that there are a number of people who are concerned about the jury, the system that utilizes jurors. Okay? And this is not something that is unique to St. Lucia. In various parts of the world, critics are asking questions and saying, well, whether those people are qualified enough. Some of those cases are very technical in nature, and therefore to come up with the right outcome certainly would take them having to be sufficiently au fait with what is presented before them. So that is not something that is unique to St. Lucia. That's something that's being debated time after time.
Another comment in the chat room, someone says, there isn't a DNA laboratory in the world that takes 20 years to submit the results on a DNA sample connected to a murder case investigation. Another comment, just take the $5 million that was allocated to the PM's office towards Turning Point. Another comment, there will be a lot of new promises and promotions of every kind coming from the government in 2024, only because we will be getting closer to the general elections.
We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
A pleasant good afternoon to you, Timothy, and your listeners all over the world.
Good afternoon, caller.
PW on the line, Timothy.
Go ahead, sir.
Timothy, I had a chance to be on site of the inspection of the cul-de-sac bridge a few weeks ago, Timothy. And I must say that the government of St. Lucia has to be very careful on when donors actually give grant fundings for projects on the island, that they're part of the bargain to join the road to the bridge need to be completed on a timely basis, Timothy. The inspection was done for the bridge a few weeks ago, Timothy, after 1 year, and the next inspection is in the next 10 years. The road has not been connected to the bridge, and I can tell you, and I know that the Japanese are very disappointed when they came to inspect the bridge and traffic was not flowing on that bridge. It sets a bad precedence when we get grant funding and projects are not completed on time. The government must know that when funding is given to us, that the government have these contractors to complete these projects on time, Timothy. Timothy, it is the Christmas season, Timothy. And as you know, that a 2.5% levy has been added to the building materials that many St. Lucians would buy to renovate their houses and to beautify their houses during the Christmas season. And as you know, the high price of fuel, transportation of these building materials and goods have increased. I would very much like the housing minister and the infrastructure minister to come and tell us that how that solutions have been in a position that things have been so bad on them during the Christmas season, especially purchasing materials at a higher price. Also, Timothy, I would also like the housing minister to come and tell us about the projects, the housing projects in the Moshi area, the Tavern Bagano area, the Tria area, and the cul-de-sac and forestry area. We have heard very little about these housing projects. Instead of wasting time, you know, attacking the opposition leader on can I help you, and wasting time on refusing bribe Timothy, the housing minister should come out and tell us about what is happening to the housing project that was earmarked for solutions for this year, Timothy, and we have not seen anything, and we have not heard anything about these housing projects. Timothy, I thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. I suspect as far as the quality of the internet from our service providers, maybe it has dropped. I could see there's something wrong there, but here's hoping we can rectify that problem, or they rather can rectify that problem, so most of you can view the broadcast on Facebook. Kimano's in the chat room.
Someone says, PW is making me and Tim very happy when we hear your voice. Another comment, Tim, let's not jump to conclusions without an explanation. The jury is all about fair justice for all. And another comment in the chat room, someone says, boy, St. Lucians never cease to amaze me. In England, with all its technology, rape and murder victims are found guilty after 25 years sometimes. Come to my people, wake up. Last week, a cold case got solved in Canada after 50 years rape and murder. The guy is now deceased. I said Tim in the chat room.
All right. WhatsApp message. Somebody says, "The pleasant good day to everyone. Is there any way possible that something is done for our youth of today? Not many students are performing academically, and not many young people have the support of the parents to send them to school. I've come across many teenagers who have been through difficulties, whether it is abuse, financial issues, including mommy and daddy issues. Trust and believe me, these individuals are so talented, and I believe something needs to be done for those who are not book smart, but talented." Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Okay, what somebody is saying there, please bear with me. We're trying to go through as many of them as possible. All right, let's see there. Okay, that will do it as far as our WhatsApp messages. Okay, let's concentrate on your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Now, we hear from Miss Mary Francis. I think it was 11 years ago that Miss Mary Francis was taking issue with the delay and as far as the adjournments, as far as that Valinda Joseph case is concerned.
The whole question again is the system. Our constitutional rights are well guaranteed in the Constitution, the right to a fair trial within a reasonable time. What is a reasonable time? You should not be a victim of the system and the inadequacies and the flaws in the system. So if you cannot be tried in a reasonable time, the best thing is to just dismiss the case and let you be a free person.
So definitely a reasonable time within which to try a case of that nature cannot be 19 years, and within that period for someone to be on remand, languishing behind bars, awaiting the day in court, awaiting justice, and even for the relatives of the victims as well. So we can learn a thing or two from those cases, not that we will learn anything from this Verlinda Joseph trial and the delay, because we've had so many experiences before that. And I don't think that we have put those experiences to good use. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Tim.
Yes, Rick. Good afternoon to you again.
Forgive me for calling you a second time.
Yeah, no problem.
I thought there was a note there on your chat room. I won't mention the person's name, obviously. But I thought that some interesting points were raised there that I just wanted two seconds to do.
Yeah.
Timothy, you are confused. Is the jury qualified? What kind of qualifications are they supposed to have? They are told what to look for by the judge. Stop making St. Lucians look like they're stupid. What the folks show, I suppose they meant should. What the folks should have a PhD. We see where these qualifications have gotten us lately. Where there is smoke, there is fire. That's the thing that happens in St. Lucia often. They molest and rape their children all the time. And all the person also asked, the lawyer had all these years to prepare. As for the 21-year-old matter, the lawyer had all this time to prepare. Let me say this first of all, Tim. The lawyer in question has almost, I can say, guaranteed he's going to appeal.
Mm-hmm.
On a number of very interesting grounds that I am not qualified, neither am I, would I break the confidentiality of what he said. But he has a number of very interesting things that occurred during the case. Now, the matter of the 21 years and the lawyer had time to prepare. There were at least 2 or 3 lawyers involved in this. There were about 3 DPPs involved in this.
Yeah.
There was one DPP who didn't go with for the forensic evidence at all because it's crap. There is the fact that in England, the people in England had their doubts, expressed their doubts about the amount of the sample they were expected to. In other words, they weren't as wonderful. Hey, this is definitely this and so on. So I'm trying not to say what I have learned from particular sources, etc. But the years had nothing to do with the lawyers' team. It had to do with how many places they had to go to until they got something that would serve them. Like they went to Barbados, they went to Jamaica, and finally ended up in England. And that itself is a very controversial thing, as we will hear in due course. So it's not a matter of having a lawyer preparing himself for 21 years. And I would like to say that corner of yours also. This thing about where there's smoke, there's fire, I suspect that is a very, very old truism. Because we know very well we have stage smoke, eh? Mm-hmm. We have stage smoke and there's no fire with no stage smoke. So, and finally, Tim, I want to put on your public mind that I am not declaring the guy's innocence or guilty.
Yeah.
I want to be very clear about that. I'm saying there are a lot of question marks over this very controversial and in many ways political case. That's what I'm saying. There are a lot of question marks, and we should not have question marks, at least too many question marks, especially when life is involved, when life and death are involved. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. So that's where the system comes into play, particularly from the perspective of our legislators and our governments. You need to have a well-staffed DPP office. You need also to have well-trained police officers so that people can have confidence in the system. So that when there is a delay, then I think people conclude that, that definitely there is need for us to be patient as a people. But when you automatically expect that there will be a delay, and that delay will be inordinate, I mean, it will be 2 decades, then that really and truly is something that is totally unacceptable. The system should not be putting itself in a state where it is so vulnerable that people are expecting that you'll be on remand for 2 decades, and after that, eventually, then maybe you could either be found innocent or be found guilty. That leaves room for people to be very suspicious, considering there is sufficient evidence. There is sufficient reasons for people to be one, confused, and one, for people to be in doubt in the first place. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Thank you. Been listening to this story as it develops. Very sad to hear that the person who's found guilty is of course close to the victim. These things are never good for the family process. It's already bad that we have some concern that the young lady, and then to have a verdict showing that it's close to the family or from within the family. So that makes it doubly, atrocious, difficult.
Caller, you're not sufficiently audible. I can't hear you too well. I don't know for whatever reason.
I was saying how it's doubly difficult, for the family when it comes to the verdict, seeing that it is coming from within the family.
Yeah.
It's already bad that you have an individual suffering such a circumstance, and it's even worse that circumstance is attributed to an individual close to them. In the person, of course, of a stepfather. As person spoke of the cold cases, I just wanted to make a point that most of those cold cases, the distinction is that usually there is not a person to match the DNA samples to. All right?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously in this case, there was an individual that the state felt that they had the DNA that they collected to match to. So I think that is what makes it more difficult, to for us to come to grasp with. Because it's not that you have a victim, you collect the DNA sample, and then you just do not know who might have perpetrated. So, of course, sometimes it takes years and years until somebody maybe comes up in the system, or there's a familial match, and then, you match the individual to the collected semen or the collected DNA sample. But from the start, it's seemingly that there was that DNA sample. So that is the problem, I think, when it comes to making that DNA match to the individual. And a lot of people saying that it is not a good, case to show that justice is done well. Because if it was there from the start, it should have already been that this DNA was either matched or not matched to the individual. I think that is an issue that should be looked at. Not saying whether it's pro or con to the person accused or the convicted, but definitely it's something that's troublesome. And it's not a one-on-one comparison to these other cold cases, because generally they don't have somebody to match the DNA collected to, whereas in this case they seemingly had the individual they wanted to match it to. I just wanted to make that distinction.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling, sir. Already people will always have doubt in such circumstances because, we are not blessed with the kind of intuition that would determine whether we are certain whether somebody is guilty of a crime or not. So we are always suspicious. We are not too clear. We are not the Almighty who sees and hears all things. This certainly puts immense pressure. It ought to put immense pressure on our authorities, on our governments, to ensure that they make the necessary investment in our police, in our judiciary, as far as our DPP is concerned. Because whether you want to accept it or not, crime is not going to ever will not ever be wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
It always be part of our system, part of our lives, part of challenges and so on. So we might as well put everything in place to deal with those cases when they surface, because they will surface, and you need to bring some level of relief to the wider society, but also in particular to the relatives of people who lose their loved ones in such tragic circumstances. Because every time you have such a case being tried, and then even when you have an outcome and it's not satisfactory for many people, also you have to spare a thought for other people in this society whose relatives were killed tragically in such circumstances, rape, etc., and there's not been a final outcome. Let's take, for example, Kimberly De Leon, and before her, several cases, even before Verlinda Joseph as well, and those have not been solved. So it's a case of prioritizing. Some Some people tell you that the resources are there, not necessarily in St. Lucia, but if we go looking for it, if we go to the Saudis, we get assistance. But we have to be modern in our approach and our thinking to such things as opposed to leaving it to chance.
But you said modern in approach and that the government should probably put things in place. I guess that's where the 2.5% levy comes in.
I think you're just being devious.
I'm being serious.
No, I'm just saying... I don't even want to touch that whole 2.5% thing. For today, I don't want to really touch on it. But I think a concerted effort must be done. And when you say governments in St. Lucia, narrow-minded people are just too sensitive and too focused on partisan politics, will say that you're taking a swipe at the SLP government. I really, in that particular instance, I don't care about SLP or UWP. I'm just saying that if we're going to address the issues that are impacting the people, and as a government, your legacy ought to be, when you get out of office, that you have made a significant difference. You have made serious changes in certain areas. Because this whole thing that we're discussing now, it would have occurred a few decades ago, involving more cases that proving challenging to us with DNA and all those complicated things. And somehow we're not putting, we're not taking the correct measures. I'm sure that in the diaspora we have people who are trained, who can really make a difference. Those people come to St. Lucia and they are frustrated. They have to leave a few weeks or a few months later. I don't know if you have any comments in the chat room as we're getting all set to conclude our broadcast.
I do have a few more comments in the chat room. Someone says, DNA samples can be kept for a long time, but it has to be stored properly. So having taken so long, if there is an appeal, the first line of questioning will be storage and handling have been to so many different labs. Another comment, jurors are hardly qualified to understand cases. Jury pool is made of random citizens. Most times they do not even understand the technical aspects of the case they are ruling on. And finally, someone says, in 2021, 1st December, the infrastructure minister said that the Millennium Cul-de-sac Road would be fixed and finished, but up to now not done, only to let him know that people are always listening to him when he speaks.
All right, thank you so much. Just a moment, we have our NewsSpin news of the day. There's a video extracted from the NewsSpin WhatsApp group. And again, the folks who would have gone to the Transport Department of the Ministry of Infrastructure, maybe to pay their licenses and so on, and then they were encountering problems, the delay as well. Talking about that word delay. As far as the justice system is concerned, delay in services at the licensing department of the Ministry of Infrastructure over in V4, and now more delay at that same department, this time in Castries. But also what's discussed in the WhatsApp group is that people can pay their licenses online. Okay, so you can also pay online, but I suspect that human interaction, you want to go there and pay your money and to get a receipt, etc. Producer is shaking his head and saying that those people, just backward in their approach and so on. But that's one method that can be utilized as well. If you're going to do it yourself, you can always get a friend or relative to assist you. That certainly would be reducing on the backlog and the delay. Finally, our NewsSpin news of the day. Venezuelan electoral authorities on Sunday claimed that 95% of voters in a non-binding referendum approved of the nation's territorial claim on a huge chunk of neighboring oil-rich Guyana. Venezuelan electoral authorities on Sunday claimed that 95% of voters in a non-binding referendum approved of the nation's territorial claim on a huge chunk of neighboring oil-rich Guyana. Your NewsSpin news of the day, bringing to a conclusion today's edition of the most monitored talk show in the world. My name is Timothy Poleon. Have yourself a good Monday. We'll be back, God willing, tomorrow afternoon, same time, 12:30, with another edition of NewsSpin. Goodbye.